I guess doing something different. Today we're just going to be chatting, talking about FL Studio. So this is a program that I've used for quite a long time, since probably the late 90s. I was a beta tester. Anyway, so I've been kind of using this program off and on for many years, and pretty much I want to say I switched this out for gaming. Uh, I want to say I couldn't do both at the same time, and now that I'm giving a little bit more time to it, I think basically I'm going to start using it more and more for some of my projects. And I think practice is due because I haven't used it in a while. So I'm going to be doing some mixing and some tracks and all kinds of stuff. So maybe this will be helpful to you or inspire you to want to do your own thing. Whatever it may be, this might be something that is somewhat related to the hobby. I wouldn't say it's fantasy grounds, but it's definitely something that could be related to streaming and for audio production. So without further ado, kind of have this disco kind of techno kind of thing going on, and I'm going to divide the tracks up now because right now it's all one track. So, if I go to play this, it's just kind of a full on song essentially.
She got the groove,
Just
baby
give
got
you a
the moves.
preview of it.
On the dance floor, she likes shake to her favorite tunes. My baby got that spunk, this lady's fine and she's tough. She likes it smooth, she likes it rough. My baby got that stuff, she got that junk.
Anyhow, that's basically the gist of it. I'm going to take this track, get it all on one main track, just like the master. So maybe I will put up my pointer here just so you can see what's going on. There, I don't know if you guys can see that, probably not, but nonetheless, down here in this line here where the track is, I'm gonna try to capture this and divide this up. So taking this audio that's already produced essentially, and I'm gonna click on this little waveform, and there is a way that you can take this thing and kind of divide it. So you're going to extract the stems. So it's going to take the drums, the instruments, the bass, and the vocals. So you're going to go ahead and extract this, and it will put each one of those on a separate track. So this is a feature that you can do on pretty much anything. This is actual created content. It's not taken from anything in particular. Um, and I just kind of put it together, and I think I put it together in an AI tool like Udio or something like that, and I kind of planned it out a little bit. Um, so I got to find the tempo and also take a look at how it's put together, and then I'll break it down into its components, and then remix it, add a couple little things, some breakdowns, some sound effects, stuff like that. I'll find the key signature, whatever it needs to polish it up, because right now it's pretty generic and there's some parts I don't like, and there's things that I want to edit at this point. So we'll see how it goes, but essentially what it's doing right now, it's rendering, and it's basically taking all the parts of it and breaking this up into four pieces. And this way I got a little bit more finite control over it, and then I can insert things and do all kinds of fancy stuff to it. So I want to kind of get the idea of the tempo, and then I'll start working from there. And then I'll start building some other parts of the song, because it's really basic right now. It's just like sound effects, drums, the bass line, some synthesizer parts. It's not that complex. So I'm going to add a little bit more production to it, a little bit more audio quality. Okay, so now that we have all these separate parts, this part is muted, which is the main track, and what we can do with this is use this to preview. Like here's the bass right here. So what I want to do
She got the groove,
is auto
baby
name
got
the
the
clip,
moves. On the dance floor, she likes shake to her favorite tunes.
and then I'll do something to it after that. So you can take this and you can assign things to it, like this thing. This is the. Let's see here. Don't want that.
DJ, play that funk.
See, auto name. There we go. That's what I wanted. So really, all I'm doing is organizing all this, because this is
My
gonna
baby got that
actually
funk. This lady's
give me
fine and
the,
she's tough.
you know, the organization part of it, which is really
She
important.
likes it smooth.
So that's what I'm doing right
She
now.
likes
Taking
it
all the
rough.
information from all the tracks and naming the parts. So you can take this and you can solo. You can take off parts. So you got it all separated.
They got that stuff, she got that junk.
Take this little pieces of this and
That lady's
try to
strut.
remix it.
She got that funk.
So what I'm going to do is chop up the drums, and then I'll go from there. So that'll be a part. Usually start with the drums, and then I'll start working with vocal samples.
She got it. She got that funk. DJ, put a record on and play that stuff.
See, the
That
vocals
stuff,
are pretty
that
dry.
funk.
So I'm going to take a plug-in
Play
for
that groovy
but I
funk.
got to assign it to a channel. So I'm going to go to, let's see. I'm going to assign this to channel, I guess it's on channel 5. I'm not on channel 6, so let's actually, let's see, what channel is that on? Let's go to this here. Here we go. This is where we can assign the audio channel. So let's start this up again.
She got the groove, baby got the moves. On the dance floor, she likes shake to her favorite tunes.
All right, so there's the vocals. So what I want to do with that is I have a plugin called LuxVerb, and this kind of gives it that that polish that you might look for when you're trying to master the vocals. So let's see what we got here.
She got the groove, baby got
That's
the
way too
moves.
So what I'm going to do is change. I want a different preset. That's not exactly what I wanted.
She got the groove, baby got the moves. On the dance floor, she likes shake to her favorite tunes.
Let's see. I wanted a small, like, not like a really washed out vocal area. So shimmer.
DJ, play that funk.
Yeah, that's not exactly what I was looking for, but and then I would turn down the volume, of course, because I don't want it to be too banging. So that's the other thing is you gotta.
My baby got that spunk. This lady's fine and she's tough.
Yeah, so that's a little bit better.
She likes it smooth. She likes it rough.
Then I do a A/B comparison. So with all the other sounds put together, you start running out of room for the frequency. So you have to kind of play around with that.
My baby got that stuff. She got that junk.
Kind of turn it up just a touch.
That lady's strut. She got that funk. She got it. She got that funk. DJ, put a record on and play that stuff. That stuff, that funk.
So that's the vocals. I think it sounds a little
Play
bit
that
better.
groovy funk.
Yeah, it's not as dry or as cheesy. So then the drums or the bass, the drums sound kind of hollow, kind of wispy. So I'm going to, let's see, put that on. Let's see. Yeah, drums are right here. So change the icon to like a drum symbol so I know what this is. And this is kind of more like the organizational parts. So that's going to be the drums. And then I want to assign this not to channel 5, but channel 6. And then from channel 6, I'm going to go actually assign it a effect. So channel 6 is right here. And I want to audio track. So this is going to be 6. I think. Let me make sure. Yeah, so audio track 6. That doesn't look like the drums though. Okay, so this is going to be kind of like a compressor. So this will help with the keeping the beat kind of flat, but not too flat, kind of spongy. I don't want it to sound so hollow, so probably use like a EQ. Clean that up a little bit so it doesn't sound so kind of swishy and swashy. Okay, so let's see if that's it. So that's right here, track 6. Okay. Yeah, so this is the track. You see the drums right here on the right, so I'm gonna mess the EQ a little bit. Take out some of this center a little. Oh yeah, it already sounds better just messing with it. Yeah, so that's putting a little bit of EQ on it so it doesn't sound so cheesy. And then I think what I'll do is there is a compressor. So let go. Fruity compressor, I don't think that's what I want. It's Maximus that I want. There we go. Here's Maximus. So Maximus is a compressing. So this will help bring the drums out, but not overpower. So take this, and I want some punchier drums. There we go. And I just turn the volume down a little bit so it's not too banging. Let's see if this sounds like the drum bit.
Got that funk. DJ, put a record on.
Yeah, so
and play that stuff.
That's basically a lot better.
That funk. Play that groovy funk.
What I'm going to do now is go into the program, into the editing tool. So this is a tool that you can use to edit. So on the master channel or channel 1, I usually assign basically like a channel for editing. And then all these other channels, I'll turn those off for right now. so don't get confused. Because if you have those running at the same time and you're trying to edit, that'll throw you off. So I'm going to go to channel 1, and I'm going to assign an effect here. This is called Edison. Maybe I'll do it on the master channel. So I got Wave Candy on there right now. Just replace that with Edison, because Edison is a really powerful audio editor. It works really good. If you want to find the loop points, like if you want to do samples and stuff, this is the way to go. And then what I'll do is I'll drag over the sample from the original track that I had rendered. So this is the audio track right here. And then what I'll do is I'll expand this out so we can see this. So you can do this with any type of music. The only reason I'm doing this, because it's kind of where I started, it kind of gives me a better feel for the program, because I haven't used it in a while. So this is a good way to practice. But I'm going to be doing like some fantasy music, like, you know, more stuff that has to do with gaming. But this will work for, you know, in a pinch, to kind of get me re-affiliated with things. So this is where you can start chopping stuff up.
She got the groove, baby got the moves. On the dance floor, she likes shake to her favorite tunes.
Okay, so that's that. So you have a slicer, which you can choose like how fine you want it to slice. So this will basically get you close to the starting points that you want, and then just like left click and highlight. Here's a passage. It's just really finite, and then you can actually set it to a loop. And then in this one, I think I'm going to actually go further down, capture some drums that doesn't have as much stuff going on, like not as busy. Let's try something a little bit less. There we go. So something like that. Let's see, what do we got here? There we go. So this is where you can take something like this and kind of chop it up and make little pieces and parts out of it. I guess you'd call them stems if you want, but that's essentially what you're doing here. So that's just one loop. So I can take that and do whatever, you know, kind of make a little parts that will drop into the main mix, and then that will be used for embellishing what's already there. So the main track's already done, but this is all the little extras, all the little stuff on top, you know, and I'll take this and filter it, add more EQ on it. So what I can do with this is essentially make a separate track out of it. So what I'll do is take this piece and I can drag it and drop it onto this track mixer board thingy, change this to pattern mode, and then use this as a guideline to kind of work on it. I need to figure out the tempo, so I might as well do that now. So there's a little like kick drum thing that you can use for, you can sync it, but I don't want to sync it. I want to go figure out, I think it's around 130. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. I think 130 was about where it was. Yeah, it's about 130. Try 132. Yeah, 132. Okay, so we got the tempo kind of figured out. now what you can do with stuff like this is do all kinds of really cool stuff. Like I'm going to assign this a track so that it's kind of independent. So there's track 8. So it's not going to get into the end of the other effects. And then I can use like a, so you're going to use the filter. There's the fast distortion, delay bank. They have this really cool filter that you can use on it. Just get all that really cool like sound effects and all kinds of cool stuff. So you can use something like this to kind of give you that stutter. You know, you can do like, so you can do some like weird like scratching and backwards. These are just pre-made patterns, but you can change it. Do stuff like this, like make that stutter. I'm not necessarily going to use that, but just kind of give you an idea of what sort of things you can do with this. It's endless. Like once you kind of understand the tools and the effects, it kind of really makes this a lot simpler. So when you first start, it's daunting because you got all this stuff. Like, oh my God, what is all this stuff? But once you focus on a certain section of it, it's not too bad. Just like learning Fantasy Grounds, you know, when you're first starting, you're like, shit, this is way too much stuff. But then after a while, you know, it just becomes second nature. You just got to use it. And that's one thing I haven't done with this in a long time is I haven't used it. So I'm still kind of getting reacclimated with it. Reacclimated. I don't know if that's a word or not, but I'm getting acclimated to it. Let's see, what do we got here? So I wanted the filter. Yeah, this is the old filter that came with FL Studio. It used to be called Fruity Loops back in the day. But I beta tested this a long time ago. So you turn up the resonance a little bit, and you can then I could take like parts of the drums and layer that on top and make these like really cool fills, like transitions, like when you go in between measures of the music. So like make all kinds of really cool stuff. So that's one piece. So that's just something I might use like later on in the mixing process. Let's see if I can capture the snare drum. Just that little snare right there. Just want that clap. Let's see. So just want the clap. Let's see. Okay, we'll see how that works. But basically you can use this and make another track and just kind of cut it up into pieces and start messing with it and layering different sections until you get something down. But for those of you who showed up late, this is the original track that I worked on first, and now you're going to go back and remix it. So that's kind of the premise of this, so you guys know what's going on. This is the original track. So this is something I did with a UI program, or with a UI program,
Baby
with an AI
the
program.
Moves. On the dance floor, she likes shake to her favorite tunes.
So what we're doing is taking the pieces out of it and cutting the stuff out that I don't want. And since it's kind of like a funky disco kind of electronic thing, I was gonna take a sample off the internet, like play that beat, and I was gonna like chop it up and put that little sample in there. It's kind of a classic like hip hop thing, so that'll make it sound a lot cooler. It'll, make it sound more produced. So I don't like the lyrics in this that much. So I might take some of them out, or I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it. I don't know. But this is the original track up here on top that I'm playing, and then here's all the other parts. And I'm just taking pieces of these, sampling them and taking it up. And I didn't think about this, but I have the drums separated. So instead of sampling the main groove, I can just sample the drum part, so I don't have to deal with trying to filter everything out after the fact. Yeah, it's going to be a project and a half. So something like this, once you get proficient and you kind of know what you want to do, it's going to take you probably a couple days to get a good chunk of it done. And it can take probably up to a week of maybe 4 hours at a time, so that you can take and replace this with hours of grooves and working and fixing stuff and tweaking stuff out. I mean, it takes a while to make a polished project, but to get the main part down, if you worked on it for maybe 16 hours, that's 4 hours a day for 4 days a week, you could probably get a pretty good product done out one song. Once you get even better, you can probably cut the time down. Once you get quicker, you can probably cut the time down a little bit more. But like I said, I haven't touched the tool in such a long time. I'm kind of rusty, so I'm trying to figure out how to redo this stuff, like how to navigate, because the interface has changed a little bit too. So the software is definitely updated.
My baby got that stuff, she got that junk. That stuff, she got that junk. That lady strut, she got that funk.
So what I'm going to do is make it about 5.5 minutes, but I'm going to do some more variation on it and chop it up into pieces and, kind of get my skills back, because that's kind of really rusty on this stuff. I haven't done it in a while. Kind of like switch out gaming for this type of thing. But I want to combine the best of both worlds. So if you got talent and you got things that lend itself to the hobby, I mean, that's basically what you want to do. If you guys know Gwydion, he does a lot of this type of stuff too. He's got pretty good handle on audio stuff, and he's done a lot of research for the gaming community on how this stuff can go together, and kind of respect him for that, because that's not an easy thing. That's one of the things I was doing too when I first started getting into Fantasy Grounds, is I was still doing music at the time, and I was taking the different elements of the skills that I'd learned over the years, kind of combining them together. So they don't necessarily have to be separate. And that's kind of the thing I want to do, is incorporate, editing, making videos, doing the audio, the whole 9 yards. It's a lot of work though. A lot of practice, a lot of patience. It just takes the effort to do it. And a lot of people don't have the time, the effort, or the accessible to the tools. So anyways, I don't want to bore you guys too much longer. I just wanted to do something a little different today. I don't do this very often, So normally I would be doing Fantasy Grounds tutorials, but I wanted to show you that there are tools out there that you can use to make some really cool stuff. As a matter of fact, I put together some stuff in here that, you know, it's just really amazing. Like the Panovo. If you guys have checked out the Panovo setting, I made some music for that, and I thought it would be fun to do that. So this is the basically the project file that I was working on when doing that. So that was a fun little thing that I was working on that had to do with gaming. It wasn't techno or really so much music. It's more like soundtrack work. That's kind of the way I look at it. But I can show you a project that's a lot further along where it's full on, like, busy, like super busy. So this is a project that I've been working on for a while, and just kind of a little bit of show and tell before I go. So these are all the channels. This is the all the patterns essentially that are associated with it. And it's very polished, and I would say it's done. It's pretty much a done deal. So we'll see how it turns out.
So close but far away, I know that I could break, while I'm walking a tightrope. Yeah, I live in no regrets. I see the stars connect. It's the light that I follow. Home, feeling so alive when I dream. Open up my eyes while I sleep. I'm awake for
You get the idea. So that's something that's, when you have it polished and you got everything ready to go, that's kind of what it looks like. Then when you're all done, you can render it as one project. So I can take that whole song, mix it down to a master track, send it off to the producers to final or master it. It's already got quite a bit of mastering on it, but if you plan on taking this to the next step, like if you want to do it professionally and you wanted to move it forward to give it to somebody that's going to put more professional touches on it, you don't want to master it too much because they got to have something to work with. I've done that, made that mistake of sending off something that I've already tried to do too much to it, and they're like, send me the raw tracks, we'll fix it up for you. And I'm like, what? I spent like days mastering it, and they weren't happy with the quality of the stems that I gave them. So they're like, we can use this, but it'd be better if we just had the originals. So I had to re-render all the different parts, all the different tracks, and then they took that information and they did do a really nice job to polish it up. I was amazed. So, they have hardware gear on top of software. So they not only have all this software stuff, but they got all the hardware too, like all the analog gear and all the really cool vintage stuff and the reel-to-reels and all that cool stuff. So I don't have room or time for that stuff. I used to have more of it, but I've been out of that game for quite a while. Started off DJing and making my own music, and then just way back in the 80s. But now I've kind of get too old for that, and kind of going back to this is bringing back some memories, but also reminds me that I got to get my skill set up again, and it takes a while. It's not easy to to do. So this is just an example for some fantasy stuff.
Explore the fantasy grounds. VTT. Explore Pathfinder, Savage Worlds, and D&D. Fantasy Grounds, VTT. Try it for a month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Fantasy Grounds, VTT.
Anyhow, you get the idea. That's, some of the things you can do with this stuff. Is, make your own soundtracks and such. So anyways, you guys have a good weekend. I'm going to play around with some audio for a while, take a break from D&D and Fantasy Grounds, and